Hello, everyone, and welcome to Weekly Manga Recap here on July the 12th of 2018. I'm Nick, here with Chris. Cat rock and roll. All right.
I am. Nick, I don't know if you heard the big news, but I might be starting up a new podcast. Might be starting up a Magic the Gathering podcast because I'm essentially a pro player now. I don't know if you heard. Yeah, Nick, so Magic the Gathering occasionally do these things called pre-releases for when their new sets come out. And their new one came out. It's called Magic Core 19. You know, pretty big set, pretty big deal. I attended one. My first pre-release ever, Nick. I've never been to one before. Undefeated. First place. Shit ton of packs won for free. Clearly I'm a savant. Clearly I'm meant for this game. And, you know, it's a huge deal. Nick, to this point, I haven't had a lot of feathers to put in this cap. I don't even have a cap. I have this. It's not really a cap, but I'll put it on. I deserve it. Why not? And honestly, it's a pretty big deal. I'm a pretty big deal now. I don't want to make a big deal out of it, but I am a big deal. So what are you gonna do? So, you know.
So how many 12-year-olds did you have to beat in order to win these free packs, Chris?
None. I didn't get matched up against any of the 12-year-olds. Thank you very much. I got matched up with...
Were there at least 12-year-olds there?
Yes, there were several 12-year-olds there. But I didn't have to face them. Me and my vicious deck.
Is it actually a vicious deck, or was it a deck that was vicious?
It was a deck that was vicious. It wasn't a vicious deck.
I don't know. Is there an archetype called vicious now? I don't know.
No, mine was about cats.
Honestly, you could tell me that there's a Yu-Gi-Oh set called vicious, and I'd be like, is there? Okay.
No, my deck was all about cats that were angry.
Oh. Right.
Angry cats. You couldn't stop them. Oh, and there were some pirate ghosts too. Whatever. It all worked. I went undefeated.
That's an interesting combination.
Blue-white, baby. It all fits.
All right. I don't really know how to.
You just bask in my glory. You glow in it with me. Nick, I won't leave you there at the bottom as I shoot higher to higher and higher heights. I'll take you along for the ride. I'm not an asshole. You'll be there. You're going to be my spit boy. Like every time before a match, I'm like, bucket! And you'll come over and I spit in your face instead of the bucket.
Why?
You're like, every
why
time.
do I have to carry this bucket?
Every time!
Well, I guess while I'm basking in your glory and getting that osmosis feedback, I guess that we can take that and do what we want. We can do whatever we want now that we're this awesome, Chris. And now that we're this awesome, we can do what we've always wanted to do. Just talk about manga.
Yep.
I've never been able to do that before. I never had the freedom, never had the stock in life to throw our weight around. But you know what? No one can stop us now.
It's a brave new world.
Right. So we're going to, in this 7th year of Weekly Manga Recap, we're going to talk about manga
Finally. No more wrestling, guys. There's not going to be any wrestling references. Not going to be any old television show, Digimon. There's none of those references. We're just talking about manga now. Finally. Broken free from the shackles that was mediocrity.
Is that what was holding us back this whole time? Okay. Well, now that we've got that Magic the Gathering pre-release championship on our resume, then, we're going straight to the top. All right. So we're going to do things a little bit differently. I'm going to warn you guys. If you guys are expecting a certain order because we've been doing it for the past little while, we're doing things a little differently this time. Part of it's because there are more series that Chris is going to be taking the lead on, so I kind of wanted to space those out. In fact, that's the primary reason, but we've also got a different balance of series in general that we're going to be talking about. It'll take a little bit of getting used to, but I think that this will help us figure out a nice balance of what to do. So,
until World Trigger returns, and then we immediately go back to.
And then immediately, World Trigger is just it'll just be the World Trigger podcast. Like, honestly,
God, I can't wait. Did you hear he did an image for the 50th anniversary of Shonen Jump? He's alive. He's still there.
He's doing art. That's a good thing. I did not hear about that. No, that's cool though. All right, so. First thing that we're going to do, since we don't have My Hero Academia this week, we're going to kick off the recap portion of Weekly Manga Recap with Food Wars Shokugeki no Soma, Chapter 270, The True Culprit. Food Wars, no more case files, Chris. They've dropped the ball. No longer the longest title in Shonen Jump.
Solved all the mysteries. There's no more mysteries left, so, yeah.
I guess so. Also, King Dude is calling Megami Megamama, which is a little weird, but just move past that.
Well, this is weird. So that got me thinking. I was like, how did the last episode of Scooby-Doo go? So I started typing in, how did Scooby-Doo end? And autocomplete was like, how did Scooby-Doo die? And I was like, oh God. I mean, he's never been a real dog, I don't think. Even in the live action movies, he was CGI. I'm pretty sure. I don't think there's a real dog. Is there some dark universe where Scooby-Doo dies and they're just like, well, that's it, gang. No more mysteries. They were shitty at burying it, so they're just hanging out of the pile first.
It's really hard to bury a Great Dane. It's a big dog.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's awful. I don't even know how did we get there from here? Okay, so things are okay now at the Otonari Inn, the place where Megami beat the guy and made him see the error of his ways. And as he's chowing down on Megami's food because he's in love with her cooking, he eventually just stops after a little bit of banter and says, well, the food here is fine, I guess. He's being very sun about it. And then we cut to a conversation that someone's having elsewhere in the inn, saying oh yeah, it was great, Tadakura beat that guy. So, be sure to praise her for this, Nakiri. And Erinus says on the other line, you're bragging a lot for someone who did literally nothing. So, yeah. Good point. Interestingly, on the other line, Erina is working out on an elliptical, and made me realize that, between this and before Megami had her showdown with the dude, she was just, bathing in the hot springs. Food Wars actually makes me more uncomfortable when it's just regular fan service than when it does the foodgasm stuff.
When it's not ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just I guess you just do like drawing young girls' bodies. Obviously that was always the excuse for it, but, the ridiculousness of, the bear, the honey made us act like bears that were being whipped into an S&M play thing. That's absurd. And it distracts me from the fact that those girls are too young to be in that cosplay. Whereas this one is just Erin is 16. I don't want to stare at her doing this.
I mean, it's not like it's that titillating of a pose.
Well, yeah, but Megami was just naked in the bath before, so...
Oh, well, that was a ridiculous one, though. You're talking about the one where she was naked in the bathtub full of money?
No, where she was just naked in the actual hot springs bath.
Oh, yeah,
She was playing with a rubber ducky.
Ooh, saucy.
The most erotic of plays you can do in the bath. Rubber ducky, you're the one.
Rubber ducky, a one-man show.
Squeak! Squeak, squeak. Squeaky! 90 minutes later.
Yeah. Why did I pay to see this?
I don't know if you've ever watched the later seasons of Futurama after it was revived, but there's one episode where Calculon comes back and he tries to put on a one-man show, and it's just the most awful thing. He's just, him sitting in a chair talking about himself, and he's like, because every one-man show is awful. That's the joke.
I've never actually seen a one-man show before. I can't really comment to that. Maybe there's some amazing ones out there.
And it was about this guy trying to become an astronaut, basically. I don't remember if it was good or not. I was 8. So
that's fair.
Anyway, Erina brings up, while they're talking, we need to know, why the Cuisiniers Noir have invaded Japan all at once, and we won't know exactly why, and hopefully the others will soon bring us more useful information. And someone's like, what, you said some other people out on missions like this? Yes, that is true.
Literally sent basically everyone.
Basically, everyone who wasn't competing over the same 3 spots in the top 10.
Leave those assholes to change sheets every single fucking week. All right, we'll do this.
I can't trust Alice to do anything. My own cousin, she's too busy with her weird friends. I tried to explain to her what I want her to do, and she just like gave me this weird machine that sorts out spices. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, how I'm supposed to use this to solve our problem. So apparently the other members of the Council of Ten have literally physically subdued the people that they were sent out to stop.
Presumably through cooking as well. Yeah. Presumably all through cooking. Like, because none of them are combat related. I think Kuga knew some form of kung fu. Like, didn't we see them practicing like a cooking kung fu or something like that?
Well, and Takumi and his brother are chasing a guy on a fucking boat. How is he going to stop him?
Oh my god, I keep forgetting that's Takumi's brother. Why do they keep changing his weight? He's so much less memorable when he's not fat.
I don't know if they've ever actually explained why he changes, his weight fluctuates. I don't think that they've actually ever established that. But yeah, like I'm just imagining, like, is this going to be like Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds? They have, a Shokugeki while they're racing each other on speedboats.
You know what? I'd be for it at this point.
So we do get a revelation of where everyone on the Council of Ten is, and including that everyone who was the second year the previous year is still on the council. They have pretty much all moved up, except for Azon.
Well, no. There's one notable person who went down.
Yeah, Kinokuni went down and Azon stayed the same spot. Yeah.
Poor fucking Kinokuni. She went from 6th to 9th and dropped below Aizen with no context to it. It's not like the two of them had a feud and like Aizen's loss was him saying like, I'm gonna like vow to be stronger and get over. There was no connection between the two characters. Someone's just like, girl, lower.
Maybe it was like Alice and Hayama and Kurakibo, were challenging everyone, and so they ended up challenging her, and she was like, yeah, okay. So that's how she lost her seat and went down, whereas Azon was just like, no, go away! You're bothering me!
I want to stay at the same seat. I have business cards that say 8th on it. Oh wait, no, he was 9th before, wasn't he?
He was 9th to begin with. I think that he went up 1 during the reorganization of the council.
Yeah, that's right. Because, what's his name became 9th? Scent dude. Hayama.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So, that's where Azon is now. He's number 8. Kinokuni is 9th. Takumi is 7th. And Kuga's 3rd. Ishiki is 2nd. Which, that makes sense. I think, Kuga was always the most ambitious out of them, but Ishiki was always the best. So, also, I like that, we get these weird little interactions between all the people that they've captured who all have these very different looks about them. Like, as if these character designs were going to be more important and then he couldn't find a place for them, so here they are now.
I really hope that the stupid cursive, like the fancy N tattoo, is absolutely the sign of the chef's noir.
Yeah, it's N for noir.
We got a hardcore noir tattoos. It's like a gang tattoo. It's a fancy N. Like, I don't think that's as hardcore as you think it is. Sure it is. We're gangsters who murder each other. And we got an N. For noir, it means black.
Can you imagine, like, getting a D tattooed on your shoulder like that? It's like, why is there a D tattooed on your shoulder? It stands for dark!
I can imagine it while I was riding on my motorcycle in my Shadow the Hedgehog sequel, yes.
Do you want to share this script with us then, Chris?
I'm holding on to it until I can finish it. See, I have 2 different dark paths in my game. Oh. That's how dark this game is.
Did you know that there are, like, an absurd number of branching paths you can have in that game? Yeah. That's why there's something like 9 different endings for it.
And, like, I don't know if I've heard of anybody who's enjoyed that game. One day anyway. I should play it. One day, just to see what it's like. Fuck it, I'll just AMV it. Why would I put myself through this to play this game? I could just watch the endings.
Why not? Yeah.
Fuck it. Why am I watching the endings? Shadow the Hedgehog endings.
So everyone shares a little bit of information. We kind of get this montage.
Nick! Once all 10 on the endings are unlocked, a true canon final ending is unlocked.
Yeah, that's the one where he realizes his true purpose. So you literally have to play the game through 10 different times or something like that in order to actually get the real ending.
Jeez.
Yeah. So we get this explanation from the different chefs noir.
No! There already were 2 different pure dark endings in it. I forgot, because you could be pure dark or pure dark hero. Which I guess was just a way of being like, I'm not a super asshole, but I am going to take over the planet. Sorry, continue on.
There are multiple endings where he kills Eggman, so... Anyway, the Chefs Noir explain some stuff to the council members who have captured them, and it's kind of put in this montage so you get more of a complete idea of what was going on. Saying like, oh yeah, we all gathered at this place where a bunch of mafia families were together to host it, and usually we operate alone, but this banquet was so big they had to hire a bunch of us, and we hardly ever meet in person, let alone work together. So there's a lot of tension, but all of us were dominated by the whole... of all of us gathered there, one dominated the whole thing. And I've never seen dishes as amazing as what he made. The level of skill and creativity he had was just on another level. Which is demonstrated by... There are, 2 of the regular kind of freakouts that you come to expect from Food Wars, which is, one guy was like a naked angel, one girl turns into this, seashells bikini girl. But the other 2 are a matador being gored in the ass by a bull, and a guy being eaten feet first by a shark.
Yeah, fair enough. Makes sense.
Okay. So... King Dude says to Magma, he's like, hey, you're a pretty good chef, but you're not even in this guy's league. And at the end of the night, he turned to all of us and he said, have you ever heard of a shokugeki? And then he explained to us that, this system lets you challenge a chef and put anything you want in line. And if we went to Japan, the chefs there take great pride in their work. So if you bait them, they'll bite like chumps. So, yeah. So that's the guy who started everything. And they're like, okay, well, who was the guy who started this? He's
I think he went to a Japanese McDonald's. He was like, this food sucks. He keeps slapping it off the counter. Clark's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, just leave. If you don't want to eat it, just leave. He's like, no. I heard all of you will get into a shokugeki if I say your food sucks. And I think this food sucks. He's like, I'm going on break.
I don't cook this. I take it out of the freezer and I put it in a microwave.
You could go back and make the same ingredients yourself, buddy. It's not going to taste that much better. Look, I'm going on break. If you're still here when I get back, I swear to God, I'm going to police.
Do you understand how many pounds we get per cent we spend? So, he explains, like, no, we have no idea what the guy looked like. He was wearing a bandana to cover his face, hat. He spoke English, but, we don't know what his actual nationality was. Actually, you know what? He did say his name. It was... Hang on.
God.
It was...
I wish this went on so much longer. I wish this was like 3 weeks later. He's like he's coming up brushes. He's like, oh, no, remember? They've hunted down the different faction leaders, and it's this massive shokugeki illegal fighting ring. And you're like, oh, Shaiba! Remember Shaiba? I remember because Yu-Gi-Oh was on. I heard Kaiba.
So the inn owner and chef are like, I've never heard of a name like that. Which I don't know, Saiba. That sounds like it could be a name you could have heard before, but Megami and Soma, of course, very much know what the name is because that's the name of Soma's father. And so they're like, oh my god, could he be the one who has caused all of this? And it's the end of the chapter. And it's an interesting direction to take things in. Obviously, you don't have the guarantee that this guy was Joichiro who did this. Or even if he is the one who did it, what his true intentions are, if he's actually really trying to oppose anything. But I do like the idea of following up on, Azami started this first thread, then, could it be Joichiro Sai who's causing all this? It's just an interesting, monkey wrench to throw into things as they're trying to figure stuff out.
Very much so.
So,
all right.
Next up is we're going to be doing Eden Zero.
Yeah. So Eden Zero, Chapter 3, Adventurers, and this first page has two things I really want to talk about. One, I didn't notice this until I just looked at this. Apparently, Levi and her entire group exist in this universe, and the one dude just hasn't gotten fat
God,
yet.
You're right.
It's the exact same group makeup with the exact same designs.
That is Levi.
Yeah. So this is the Adventurers Guild shooting Starlight. And the other thing that's kind of interesting is, like, the big, like, globe that they get in has a big 50th anniversary thing. I'm wondering if that's meant to be, like, a shout-out, I guess, to Shonen Jump, which is currently having, like, its 50th anniversary. I'm wondering if that's, like, because it seems kind of weird a little bit, but I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I just don't know what it's pertaining to otherwise, so...
It could very well just be Hero going like, oh, yeah, a little shout out for them. It's like, that's our rival magazine. I don't care.
Yeah, fuck you. You want to?
What do you gotta do?
You understand? I have you by the balls, right? Like, I'm the huge fucking thing you have. So we are introduced to the shooting starlight receptionist, Clarice Lair. And I'm actually kind of happy here because she doesn't look like anyone else from Fairy Tail. Like, she actually has, like, kind of her own unique look.
I was going to open by saying, it's like, oh, hey, look, it's Ever. And then I was like, no, wait, actually, she doesn't look like Ever at all. She just has glasses.
So it seems as though... Oh, fuck. Rebecca. Why can't I remember this fucking character's name? Rebecca has a good relationship with
She's
Clarice.
not important, Chris. She's never going to be an important character.
It's very much so because she even starts crying when she's like, I'm so glad you're alive. They introduce Shiki to him. They say, like, oh, we met him on Graham Bell. He's like a castaway. And she's like, oh, I'm so glad Rebecca found you. So I guess she's got, like, a crybaby kind of gimmick to her. And Rebecca's like, oh, hey, let's register him. You know, can't you do it even if we don't really know who he is? She's like, yeah, I know. Well, we can do that. And besides, it's not like I really know who you are either, Rebecca. So I guess that's our first little tease to the fact that we have a big mystery involving Rebecca still to find out. Then Shiki does his same thing where he, like, grabs onto somebody. He's like, are you a man? You got good muscles. I like your face. Will you be my friend? And he gets pulled
Of all
off.
the places on this guy that he could have grabbed onto while making a comment of, this is some good muscle you got here, he grabs his face.
It's a good muscle he's got in his face. He gets pulled off, and Shiki then looks up to see a giant hologram of the woman we saw floating in space at the start of Chapter 2. And Rebecca explains that that's Mother, but it's actually just a hologram of Mother because she's way bigger in real life. And she's somewhere in the universe, a woman bigger than the planets, a mysterious life form that no one knows how or why she exists. And they say that all we know is that a long time ago there was an adventurer who left the Sakura cosmos and happened to find her out there. And at some point, adventurers started worship her as the goddess of the cosmos. So they display an image of her at the guild. And Shiki says, I feel like I met her. And everyone starts laughing at him like, oh, look at the idiot. This kid thinks he saw him at Mother. What a big loser. Probably thinks it's just his own mommy. What a bunch of baloney. Ha, ha, ha. And even Rebecca kind of, like, gets, like, has, like, a blush. She's like, oh, I shouldn't have brought this freak to this. But I actually kind of like this because Shiki's like, okay, you guys, I know exactly what you're trying to say. So wait, just be my friends, okay? And I don't know, I guess I like that he didn't, like, have, I think, what every hero character does, where, like, they, like, plant their foot and they're just like, no, it is real.
I believe in my dreams, and you can't tell me what. No, yeah, he's just like, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah. Then a new character comes in. He's like, my goodness.
Hold on. Before we move on.
Okay.
I just want to observe, so they have this whole moment, it's like, he thinks he's seen Mother, he's bet, he told me I met Mother, that stupid kid. And he's like, all right, be my friends. And they're like, he wants to be friends! Oh, shit.
Knocked out his mic.
I might have to be right back.
Great. I'm glad this joke has fucked up the Skype call. All right. Well, Nick's coming back. Fucking Christ. I'll just wait for him to come back for a second here. Are we good?
I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just wanted to make the observations like they're acting like he's this big loser because like he wants to form human connections. I was like, what? Come on.
They're a bunch of space bullies. I get it. I'm waiting as soon as Nick's video comes up on my end, guys.
Yeah, I think that's somehow been fucked up. I don't know how.
Hi. Wait. No.
I'm trying to because it's not doing anything. Like if I try and turn it off or on.
Do you want to try?
Wait. Can't start video. Try closing other programs that might be using. No other programs using my webcam. Fuck you, Skype.
All right, well, we'll figure this out eventually. All right, so the person comes in who's like, oh my goodness, I thought it was noisy in here. And we see someone come in who looks a lot like an older version of Wendy, who is very mean, who's like, if it isn't Miss Bottom Level Beekeeper Rebecca and her junky little cat, Hoppy. And her name is Labilia?
Labilia.
It's too weird of a name for me.
Well, everyone calls her Libby.
Yeah, that's the thing. As they immediately call her Libby, and someone comes up and is like, "Whoa, man, she's in this guild. Hi, I'm a big fan. Can I have your autograph?" And she's like, "That'll be 100,000 glee," which I guess is the currency in their world. And she says 50,000 for a photo. And then she starts drawing on this what looks like a kid. Drawing on his autograph picture, and she just draws a picture of poop, and she says, "You could directly transfer the money to my channel, thanks."
As the most wonderfully dickish thing.
And then she goes up to Rebecca, and she's like, "Oh, my dear Rebecca, your videos have simply not been very good lately. Isn't it time you considered retiring from the business?"
So she watches her videos then. Mm-hmm.
And Shiki's like, "Who's this?" And they explain that this is Labilia Christie, a famous beekeeper and someone I abhor. And she says, "No, that's not accurate. I'm a super famous beekeeper. So famous that there isn't a soul in the Sakura cosmos who doesn't know me." And like Shiki's like, "I don't know you."
That is the most amazing reaction. Just so factual. Like, I don't know who you are.
And she has no response. So she's just like, just go about churning out your little boring videos. That'll make mine look so much better. And Shiki reaches out and grabs her. And she's like, "Can I help you? Handshakes cost 10,000 glee." And then she starts floating. And Shiki's like, "You made my friend cry." But Rebecca pulls him away first before he can do anything. So she lands on the ground and I think bumps her nose and starts like having like a little bit of a nosebleed. And she's like, "What was that? What did he do?" And he's Rebecca's friend. That boy will make a fabulous video. And I'm like, here's where this is wrong.
It's a scoop.
If this was really YouTube, she would immediately done like a counterclaim on all of Rebecca's videos now, saying that she was assaulted, try to get her channel taken down. God. She'd do a bunch of assault videos.
She would have swatted her. Yeah.
Exactly. This would have been an immediate like, "Oh, I'm filming this video. I just got attacked in public at the Shooting Star Guild and shit like that by a mystery boy." Yeah, there'd have been a whole thing there. So Rebecca and Shiki go to this bar that's run entirely by Plu-like creatures, I guess. Like, it's weird because Plu-like creatures are the only ones that exist there, but the restaurant isn't sized for them. Like, it's sized for regular people, so it's these tiny little creatures, like, walking around with, like, plates on their head that have to, like, I guess, hurl the plates up onto the table or something.
You gotta do, like, a Mario triple jump in order to reach the table to put the food down.
Yeah, they're doing the whole thing. I'm gonna skip over this because I don't really fucking care about this joke again. We got it last fucking series and the series before that, so we got
a dog!
So Shiki says, "When I think of a guild, I think of a place where you're all in it together, you know, like a family." And Rebecca says, "There was a manga like that long ago." I'm like, wait, does Fairy Tail exist in this universe? Is that what this is meant to imply? Was Livy and the group being there actually significant? Or are they cosplayers?
Well, there's Happy there, too.
Yes, Happy. That is... Holy shit, how does Happy reconcile with this shit? He's like, "Oh my god, my entire existence is taken from something else. Oh my god, I'm a machine!"
Don't think too hard about it, Chris. It's okay.
Sure. So yeah, they say it's basically a guild, but it's basically just a place people work at. Because Clarissa is a part of it. Like, Clarissa's in it, but so is Libby. And if Libby's a part of the guild, it's not really the same kind of atmosphere as Fairy Tail. But she does say that the guild is their their window to adventure. So now they can go on their own adventures. And they're like, oh, you just got registered online. So they manifest his digital card that they put on there, his adventure license, and his name is Shiki Granbell in honor of his planet, and he's a rank E hunter, or adventurer, sorry. They say that they're rank E too, because they're basically shut-ins who played video games until recently. And I'm like, wait, what was the point where you guys stopped being destitute on the street poor to, like, we spend our days all inside playing video games?
You gotta live life to the fullest, because you never know when you'll have nothing to your name and you'll be left starving on the street with nobody to help you. Anyway, let's chill out on the couch playing video games.
I'm like, your only source of revenue that you refer to thus now is being a bottom tier B-cuber. Where do you find the comfort in life to be like, let's not film anything today, let's just play video games? And yeah, she's like, hey, I hate to admit it, but, Libby's videos are really good. She must put a ton of effort into them, so I can really respect that about her. And she's like, I know a way to make videos way more awesome than hers. We'll go see Mother. And that seems to be the promise they're going. And he's like, if nobody's seen her, and, I'm wondering why I feel like I've seen her before, so let's see her to get back at everybody at the guild. And she's like, oh, going to see Mother. That would make an amazing video. So they kind of, commit to that. They're like, oh wait, but it's outside the Sakura cosmos, so we'll need a better ship. So they're like, well, we'll just get a better ship. And I kind of like this because Shiki, I guess, played video games at some point. He's like, yeah, and we'll need a party and a warrior and a healer and a mage. And they're like, yeah, so I think we can get a ship and a party all at the same time. We just got to find the professor who fixed Happy. Professor Wise, I forget how to pronounce it. So I guess they're going to get an entire group of people, too. I don't know. They're like, oh, well, no one's home. Well, whatever. Let's go have a visit. So they head off. We cut back to... I can't even remember what her fucking fake name is. Like, Ellie...
Libby.
No, the Urza clone. Like,
Urza. Yeah, I think it is Ellie. Yeah, is it like Crimson? Ellie Crimson.
Ellie Crimson.
Elsie Crimson.
Elsie Crimson. Fucking Christ. All right, so Elsie Crimson.
But wait, Chris, she's not exactly like Urza because she's got an eye patch.
There was a version of Urza that had an eye patch, didn't she, though? Wait, Urza didn't have a second eye, so she exactly is. Fuck. So Urza... I'm not going to be able to not call her Urza. I don't think I'm going to not be able to. Urza shows up in this guild, and she's shooting Starlight. She's like, I'm looking for Shiki. And Clarissa is like, oh, I haven't seen him. But all the jerks there are just like, oh, I've seen him, and I heard he was going to go to Planet Norma. I guess this is somebody who was in the bar that heard this. So we see them in their ship say, Mother or bust, let's go get a ship. And then the group inside the bar saying, wait a minute, Your Highness, that planet has already perished. Dun, 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 dun.
Okay. I'm gonna actually give Hero a little bit of credit because we were remarking, like, oh god, they're just going to Fairy Tail basically. But I do like that right away he emphasizes that the Adventurers Guild is actually very different from Fairy Tail. There's not a whole lot of camaraderie among them, at least initially. And there's more of a sense of like cattiness about the members. And also we weren't just like introduced to like 30 different people that we were expected to understand who they were right away. It was just Libby,
yeah. Well, Libby, and I think we're meant to kind of get Clarissa as well.
Libby and Clarissa, and I don't know if she's actually supposed to be all that important beyond just being a secretary. So I do like that, and I do like that we're kind of just like building up what this is, what's going on here, as opposed to just fucking was like, here's 20 people, you know.
Yeah, so. It's not as though
that was when Fairy Tail was at its best, when it was following just this tight knit group as opposed to the entire guild anyway. So,
all right, I didn't mind the chapter. It's fine. There's parts of it I enjoyed. Some of like the comedic points kind of got me in a good way, but it's tough to not see certain characters like Libby and be like, oh, it just looks like Wendy with a different thing. I'm hoping we get more kind of interesting designs of characters, but I don't know. I'm also really hoping that Libby doesn't turn out to be like, I kind of like them to have like their like series Bulk and Skull, or like their catty villain that's always trying to interfere with them or something like that, like their Team Rocket or whatever.
All right. Before we move on to the next one, I'm just going to hang up the call here. Give me just like 5 seconds and try calling back, and maybe that'll fix this bullshit.
Okay. So we have 5 seconds, guys. What do we do to entertain ourselves in these 5 seconds? Shit. What kind of entertainer am I if I can't figure out a way to entertain people for 5 seconds? I give up. The podcast is canceled, everybody. I'm going home. I'm giving up. Wait on. I think that's 5 seconds. I think I can call Nick back. I think. He said 5 seconds. I may have taken it too literally.
I don't know if this is actually going to start.
Let's see.
Yeah, my webcam light didn't turn off when I hung up the call. So, let's see here. Like, I don't want to... I could disable the webcam, but I don't want to... I would have to restart the computer, and I don't want to do that.
I was going to say, what if you just restarted Skype?
All right, we'll give this one more try.
All right.
And
you want me to start doing like We Never Learn in the meantime? Oh, he hung up completely. Okay. Well, I guess we'll sit here and wait for Nick to figure this out. Yeah, I mean, I could dig this image. Natsu, Shiki, and Haru all fist in. It's fine. It's all dope. I digs. I had to wait for Nick now, because now I have to wait for him to load everything up. In retrospect, we should have waited until I was about to start up a new series, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't know, guys. I was, my mentally prepared state was to like shut. All right, you know what? I'm gonna read you guys a couple of the endings for Shadow the Hedgehog. Fuck it, it's up. Let's do it. So you could be pure dark, slightly dark, neutral, slightly dark, or slightly hero, and pure hero, and then a hero and dark version of both of those. So in the dark ending, Shadow defeats Sonic and Diablon, I don't know who that is, and moves to destroy the whole planet. And you're like, holy shit. It's super evil. Kills everybody. Pretty crazy. But I don't want to go through this. I want to go for the real ending. So Shadow has obtained all 7 Chaos Emeralds, but all of his comrades, Sonic and his friends, Eggman and Black Doom, converge into Black Comet and demand he hand them over. Black Doom reveals that Shadow's creator, Gerald Robotnik, was in development of the ultimate life form but needed an energy source. He made the decision to use Black Doom's DNA to create... Who the fuck is Black Doom? That name sounds so stupid. Black Doom. He's leader of the Black Arms alien and an overlord of the Black Comet. He is still the villain in general, however. Okay. He's kind of like a Cthulhu thing, but... Does he have sticks for legs? No, he has no legs. He's just a floating... Why does he wear a shirt if he has no torso? That's curious. Alright. So, after claiming the Chaos Levels and using them to teleport the Black Comet to the surface, Black Doom paralyzes and moves to surrender Shadow, Eggman, Sonic, Tails, Rogue, Rouge, and Amy to his offspring as meals. But Shadow breaks free and regains his mobility and chases him throughout his entire Earthbound comet. When he finds them, Team Chaotix, holy shit, I forgot everyone, their fucking mother was in this game. Team Chaotix coincidentally recovers a video recording of Gerald telling Shadow that the Black Comic would arrive 50 years after Shadow's birth, and that Shadow's the only one who could stop the malevolent Black Arms. Shadow and Black Doom transform into Super Shadow and Devil Doom, respectively, and do battle. That's exactly what it says here. Do battle. After defeating Devil Doom, Shadow uses Chaos Control to blow Black Comet into space, activates the Eclipse Cannon to destroy it. Sonic and his friends celebrate the saving of the world, and the game finally ends with Shadow departing the Ark's control room saying, "Goodbye forever, Shadow the Hedgehog." God, that is fucking lame. Whatever. All right, next one is ready. I'm imagining like the gravitas when she says that of like, "Goodbye, Shadow the Hedgehog."
I am here.
Hey, Nick's back. All right, we're good to go.
Yeah, so it turns out that if your laptop light is stuck on, you should put your computer to sleep and then wake it back up.
There we go.
So, everyone, let's keep this rolling then. Go on to Alice and Taiyo, one of our 2 Jumpstart series that we're following along with. Last chapter, the debut ended with Taiyo agreeing to help out Alice. He played the piano for her while she was singing for the school in secret. Basically, we actually catch him. He's like actually still continuing to like do music and stuff. He just, does music for himself and doesn't like put it anywhere, which we find out more about in this chapter. As Alice basically uses the school's PA system to call him to meet with her in the music club room. And he's like, "Why did you do that?" And Alice has pizza to thank him with. So
well, that's a pretty good thanking, to be honest.
Yeah. So nice gesture there by her. So they talk a little bit, and he actually mentions like, "Oh, I was actually making music while I was over the weekend." She's like, "Really? I want to hear it. I want to hear it." Is
that what you think her voice sounds like?
Well, when she's like, "New songs, I want to listen. Give me.
Goodness. All right, that's fair.
So obviously, she's a great singer. She'll have the voice of an angel.
Exactly.
So he begs off and says, like, it's really more like a musical diary. It's just like music I just, make in order to keep in practice of it. And so they talk a little bit more about it. And he says, "Yeah, I play the keyboard. I make music basically every single day." And she's like, "Well, really? Even when you weren't uploading music?" And he's like, "Yeah." And she starts singing, but the way that it suddenly transitions, it's just like, a shot of Taiyo's face and then a shot of her. And she's like, it made me think she's like emitting a constant note, like a test. This is a test of the emergency sound system.
The emergency Alice system. You've been warned that her presence is near.
And she was just singing one of the songs that he had made and uploaded online. And she basically proposed like, "Hey, let's you and me team up together and take the musical world by storm." And then he's like, "No." So her next approach is to pin him down, loom over him, and reach into her shirt and take out a coin that she tries to hypnotize him with. Which is pretty ridiculous.
I like that it sets you up for one way and doesn't go with the easiest way, which would have been like, I could draw a sexy girl in her underwear and get more horny boys in touch with my series. Emphasis on in touch. But I like going for something a little bit different.
Yeah, she's got that a little bit of a Asumi quality to her where she's, constantly teasing him. It's like, "Why? You don't want to help a cute girl like me out?" kind of thing. But there is that very goofy side of her, this constantly scheming, cartoonishly so method to her. Like, she takes out this coin to hypnotize him. Clearly doesn't seem to really think it'll work, but she's like, "You want to play music together with me, and also you want to give me $2 million. We then get because Alice is like, why don't you want to, help me out? Is my singing not good enough? And we get this, I'm not sure if it's imagined or if it's a flashback from Taiyo's perspective of all these people be like, look at this music Suzuki made. It's weird. What, he's using Vocaloid? Does he think that he could go pro? Look at him having dreams and wanting to work hard on something. What a loser. People are getting mocked for weird things this week, Chris.
Hey, kid likes his book.
This kid wants to make friends. This kid wants to be successful. What a loser. And Taiyo explains like he's scared. He's scared that people will say mean things about his music, which is a pretty good reason to not upload stuff online, let me tell you. For all we know, this whole thing, part of his character was set up because he got mean comments online, and people online can be very vicious.
He accidentally posted a spoiler to Naruto in the episode title.
But Alice says, like, hey, if you were so scared about it, then why did you, play with me at the school festival? And she was like, well, because you made me happy. You said that you liked my music, and you made me happy, so I wanted to help you, and the rest was just a blur. And Alice says, well, then let's keep going. Let's take over the world. But before Taiyo can inquire what exactly she means by that, all of a sudden people are like, hey, you hijacked the intercom. How dare you, Alice Shinohara? And he's like, well, all right, bye. And then they go to meet up somewhere later. It's an event that hosts local high school bands, which means that it's far too nice for what it is. Like, look at that lighting. I went to a bar where a friend was playing with his high school band, and this is far too nice for that. Like,
yeah, it's like well lit. Like there's tables set up. That seems weird.
There's actual acoustics, seemingly. Some douchebag comes up to Alice and is like, hey, I saw your video. That was rad. And Alice's like, thanks, whoever you are. And he's like, I'm Furuya. We met at your studio. Oh, you seem really friendly for someone I've only ever met once, but thank you. Just completely shutting him down immediately. The MC of the event, Jin, who is the most happening of dudes. Look at his guy. He's got his striped shirt and his hair and his sunglasses indoors and his smiley face buttons on either side of his collar.
Is that not what the cool kids use?
What is this, man? And he talks to Taiyo for a bit while Furuya talks with Alice. And he's like, yeah, that Furuya guy, his dad's in the entertainment industry, and he even does some modeling work himself. We get a good crowd to come out thanks to his band, mostly girls, so I can't tell him to knock it off with the sweet talking, and he's always ditchy performances. But, the events are always fun anyway. There's all sorts of people coming around here. And Furuya is just, like, getting really skeevy on Alice while she's having none of it. He's like, hey, why don't we get out of here? Yeah. And Alice says, like, huh. Are you done performing then? He's like, what? Whatever. It's a small event anyways. But, and then he's like, hey, I know. Why don't you join my group if you're looking for band members? And she says, I've already got my heart set on someone else. Oh, well, what's he like? It's like, none of your fucking business. But she says, well, he's awkward. He's the kind of guy who makes hundreds of songs no one will ever listen to. He's a little awkward, but a totally awesome guy. That's the way that the kids these days talk. They say totally awesome, right, Chris?
It's pretty on beat. That's how kids talk nowadays.
On fleek?
I had someone say this, like, it was in reference to our upcoming Dice Funk episode. Someone was like, yeah, this episode's going to be extra. And I sat there. I was like, oh, no. I don't know what this means. I'm the old man who doesn't know. I've lost touch with the kids. I can't figure it out from context. Does it mean extra cool? Extra big? I don't know.
So Alice rushes over to Taiyo all of a sudden, and she's like, hey, you having fun? And he says, oh yeah, the singer, they're actually using Vocaloid. So, Vocaloid doesn't mess up the pitch or the sound, but, it can kind of be boring. But, this group actually uses it with live vocals, so it's actually really interesting. And Furuya's like, Vocaloid? That's super lame, right? And he immediately locks onto Taiyo, like, is this the guy that Alice is interested in? And Taiyo says, well, I think it's actually nice, and I don't think it's appropriate to make fun of someone who's trying their best. And Furuya's like, wrong!
People who try their best are the worst.
It's laughable because the weirdo's actually serious. And we then get a shot from Taiyo's perspective of, a mental thing of, people commenting. It says, did you listen to the Vocaloid song that Suzuki made? Yeah, lol. Lame, lol. Which makes me think that he did actually get a bunch of negative comments at some point, and that's why he doesn't upload them anymore. I don't think that they're actually, imagined things. He just doesn't want anyone finding out he does anything because he's afraid of what the reaction will be. He's afraid of criticism. So Alice all of a sudden is like, hey, I like to listen to some more of your stories, but it's kind of loud here, so let's go somewhere a little more quiet. And Furuya's like, this is the moment. So he's like, yeah, let's go. Just use this to put a sock in the door. But Taiyo immediately realizes, because you can see Alice's face while she's doing this, she's planning something, because she's making this really creepy face. And a little bit of time passes, and we see Furuya talking with his band, and they're like, what, you want us to go home? Really? Yes, go! I can't get laid while you're here. And I do like the detail that we see him psyching himself. Oh, yes, I'm going to get laid, yes. But then it goes back inside the club, and everyone's like, that Furuya just ditched us again. God damn it, he was going to be our finale. That asshole, he ditched us again. So Jin's like, well, I guess we have to find a replacement. Or maybe I'll have to perform some of my stand-up. That's what these people came to see for the finale of this concert.
It's
my half-ass stand-up.
It's a great moment when they're just like, what's going to go well with this is a couple great jokes. I got some great bits on on PC culture today, guys, to really knock you out of the house.
The Me Too movement. What's that about? Am I right?
Me too, right? Hashtag Me Too, right? I don't get it either.
So Alice grabs Jin and pulls him aside. It's like, hey, oh, all right, yeah, we'll put you guys in Furuya's spot. She's like, yes, Alice, her, it's time to shine. And she has a end of episode, we are victorious, jump in the air pose, but she's the only one doing it. So she's like, yeah, let's do it, Taiyo. What? Me? Whoa! And he immediately is like, no, I'm going home. I don't want to get dragged into this. No, the people in the crowd here are complete strangers. No, they'll judge me harshly. And I was like, no, you're not going to run away. You're going to stay. You can do it because I bet it all on you. What if I'm a loser, though? If that happens, I'll be lying in the dirt with you. So let's do this. I actually think I like this chapter more than the previous one, honestly.
I mean, the stakes are a little bit higher, too, of just Crane, this is an environment he feels really insecure in. It feels like it's touching a little bit closer to home. There's less of oh, well, at least we know these guys, so maybe we'll give a cursory kind of applauding to them or whatever. This is just outright performing in front of strangers, basically. Strangers who are expecting something else, too, which is always a rough start.
Mm-hmm. I also think that it gives you a better idea of what Alice's character is. She's got a little bit of that fuck the consequences attitude that the girl, the alien freak girl in the previous Joestar series we covered had. But she's also got this very scheming quality about her that she knows how to actually get what she wants. Her harebrained schemes actually work. And she relies on manipulation and stuff. So she's got that very positive, upbeat quality to her. And then in order to realize those very positive dreams, she becomes the worst person in the world. So I'm digging it so far. And we also get a better idea of what Taiyo's actual hangups are and why he has these insecurities, which seem like they come from a much more legitimate place now. So I guess we'll see how it goes.
Yippers.
All right. So from there, we're going to move on to our other Jumpstart series, the final chapter of the Jumpstart run that we're getting from Seiji Tanaka. This one is basically about Nagato and Seiji actually going to try and recruit the people that are important to, actually establishing the company. So he's going to this super uber genius who is part of the robotics club. And we get a brief little introduction to him that he had first place in the national and mock exams. He creates these awesome robots for the club, and he is introduced as Naoi Genda, super genius. And of course, Nagato's approach is just to immediately like, hey, you should make me a time machine so we can get our company going. Let's do it. Let's make a bunch of money. He's like, what the fuck are you?
Okay.
We are also introduced to the seemingly sole female member of the robotics club, Akari, who Nagato instantly recognizes because she's, this perfect image of beauty and brains, that she's the school idol that everyone's obsessed with. And Nagato's immediately like, oh my god, it's Akari! And Seiji, being an idiot, says, you cannot get distracted by her. Despite the thing that happens at the end, but we'll get to that. Basically what happens is that, Genda is like, oh, you shouldn't make, motions towards my beautiful, intelligent girlfriend, Akari. And she's like, I'm not your girlfriend, but fuck off, And Nagato's solution to getting Genda to join him is I challenge you to whatever, and I'll beat you, and then you'll have to join me. And he's like, okay, robotics match, and I'll even give you a 3-on-1 handicap. Here, you'll be you two, and I'll even give you Akari so that you'll stand even a remote chance, but then I'm going to kick your asses anyway. And basically, it's instant losses immediately, but for Nagato and Seiji. Nagato's explodes because he's overclocked it by giving it all of the things to do, and Seiji's bows respectfully and then topples over because robots aren't meant to do that. So then the guy's like, hey, Akari, let's do this. You can't beat me because I'm so smart. It doesn't matter. You were the only challenge, but you still can't beat me. And Nagato's trying to freak out. He's like, oh, maybe we can do something. Come on, we're not done yet, Akari. We just gotta, modify your robot to be super awesome. There's no sense in us giving up just because someone else told us it's impossible. And she immediately takes up the tools and ties her hair back and does really fast modifications and gives her freaking robot laser beams that blow apart the other robot. And they're like, huh. And she gets right in the guy's face and threatens to do something with the drill. I can't tell exactly where she's pointing it. And then, of all times, Seiji's like, President Tokioka, do you know her real name? Well, it's Akari Tsukuchi. That makes then what we use, if we use the alternate kanji reading for her last name, it's Genai, the one that we've actually been looking for. She is the future inventor of the time machine. Seiji, you should have known this. How did you're from the future. How did you not know who the real target was? It would be one thing if he just had not said anything, but he specifically said, don't get distracted by her. Anyway. This chapter featured fighting robots, and I love those, so this was my favorite chapter so far. But whatever. Chris?
Yeah, I have nothing to say. I didn't read the series. I got bored at the first chapter and gave up on it.
All right. So, with that said, we're going to move on to Boruto, number 25, Residence. There's so much stuff that happens in this chapter, so much important plot things.
What's weird? So, the week after this happened, I sent, a message to Brennan, and he was helping me out with something, and he had to read Boruto. And Brennan, for those of you who don't know, good friend of ours, huge fan of Naruto. He's the one we joke about. He did like God of War, Naruto crossover effects and shit like that. He loves Naruto. He read the last chapter of Boruto, and his immediate response is like, this character is the most obnoxious original character do not steal ever. Then it gets to the point, it's like, oh, of course he was abused, because that's how these characters always go. And at first I was like, oh, you're just like silly. And then I was like, you know, he says it really does feel like a really bad, like, original insert OC into the Naruto universe.
Which I don't really care, because he's Sasuke, so.
True.
Yeah, honestly, if he's supposed to stand in for Sasuke, this is all necessary for him to be equally as infuriating and broken. So, the dude who was sent after them, the guy with all of the with the broken jaw and everything, his name is Garo, and he tries to capture Kawaki, he of the blonde and black hair. And they're fighting, and fighting. And it looks like Garo's got him, and he's got him, impaled on his arm thingy. And he's going to destroy him and kill him. And they're like, oh no! Because Boruto's like, we've got to stop him. And Konohamaru is like, Boruto, no! The situation's bad! We can't take any more careless moves. And Boruto's like, well, we can't do nothing. Listen, the mission has increased to S rank. It's too dangerous. It only just now increased to S rank. A fucking cyborg ninja assassin came after you guys before.
Yeah, it was still like B+.
He killed your partner.
It was still like a B+ at that point. We could have handled it.
He killed your partner, whose name I don't remember. So, meanwhile, mysterious guys are still watching, and the girl whose name I don't remember, and Kashin Koji.
Delta. I remember her name for some reason.
Okay, Delta and Kashin Koji. They're still watching the proceedings. They're like, huh, Garo, he's going to destroy the kid. No. And Kashin Koji's like, wait, what's key is still to come. And Garo's like, I can't have you wake up and fret about, so I'll just break a few of your limbs. And all of a sudden, Kawaki's arm twitches, and Boruto's like, ah! And the Karma Seal thing unleashes across his arm, and Kawaki's like, hey, you forget about me? And he just tears off the guy's arm while it's holding him up off the ground. How he gained that leverage, I don't know. But he does it, and a big whoosh goes out, and he's like, oh no, my gun hand has been torn off.
That is my favorite hand.
And Kawaki's karma, has gone up his arm and across his face and stuff. And while he's doing this, Boruto is also reacting, crawling up his arm and across his face. So Garo's like, oh, shoots a big energy blast. He shoots the Mega Buster, and Kawaki uses karma to absorb it, and then walks up to him, extends a bunch of stuff from his hand that gouges out his chest and pierces right through him. And then he says, I warned you. I said you'd lose more than just your chin this time. And then he just blows him apart with a giant energy blast that sends out this massive explosion and waves of energy. We see his torso afterwards, Garo's torso. It's kind of gross because you only see his legs and then nothing extending out of them.
Yeah, like the waist around and then nothing.
Like if it had been only his boots that were left, it would have been comical. But because the waist is left above that, it's actually kind of gross. So Kawaki has killed the guy. And Delta's like, well done, Kawaki. Blasting that bothersome Konoha bunch to bits as well. Good boy. And Kashin Koji's like, nah, actually, it seems that kid's just as able. Because when the smoke clears, it turns out the energy blast that went towards Boruto's grip, he absorbed with karma. So then nobody got harmed. And they're like, And Kawaki's like, you seem to know a lot about karma for someone who doesn't, have whatever. All of a sudden, smoke comes out of his body and he collapses unconscious. Because as Kashin Koji's like, his karma resonated with the other. That is why Jigen is so obsessed with Kawaki. I need more intel. And then Kawaki passes out. And Katasuke is like, it's called overheating. And they're like, what? He's like, well, I wonder. So Delta's like, all right, well, I'm going to go kill those Konoha ninjas right now, okay? And Kashin Koji's like, wait, don't interfere.
And that's when like you go into like his mind right now, and it's the galaxy brain thing going off. And he's just like, you don't understand. I've next leveled this shit. She's like, I mean, it seems really simple. If I just go in and kill them, I could take both vessels and we have them. No.
We will get the vessels eventually, but we should learn more first. Like, we can learn more later.
Yeah,
why don't
we can learn.
Konoha doesn't learn anything about them. Well, they've already learned to us. Well, yeah, but there's still some information that they don't know. And if we kill them all, we can stop them from following our trail anymore. No, we need more intel.
She's like, oh my god, I hate you and this stupid fucking group.
Shut up. My mask is awesome.
The only reason I'm in this group is because the only place that would allow me to come and dress up in fucking pinstripe long pants and not get any problems.
What is she supposed to do? Her high-heeled, thigh-high boots.
It's the tights that really do it. Like, it's the pinstripe, like a circus tent. Like, she's like, I always loved the circus as a child, so I decided to wear them as pants.
Oh, man. Meanwhile, Katasuke has been examining Kawaki's body, and after basically going, poke, he's immediately like, just as I suspected, has immediately performed this high-degree analysis of his entire body, including his nerve ends.
He's like, he's basically a microwave.
His very existence is a scientific ninja tool. The blood vessels, the nervous system, all of it's been modified using technology similar to, if not even more advanced than Lord Seven's artificial hand. I can't believe a scientist with this much know-how exists. You can't compare this boy to Lord Ao or that big man. His body is a work of art. It excites me to know there is another genius like me out there.
It gets kind of
What the fuck is this?
Because he's just talking about like this little boy essentially, and he's just like, what a splendid work of art. His rippling biceps, his knotted pecs, all so deliciously put together by the most brilliant I mean, he's very special boy. Let's bring him home. Can we bring him home? Let's bring him home.
I can't believe we were ever meant to think that he was a villain. Like, the way that he talks about this small boy's body.
He's like, let's take off all of his clothes to see if he has a serial number, because he's like a machine, you know.
Well, honestly, I would have actually expected you ask us to do that before you began your investigation. Now that you've analyzed that much about his inner body just by poking him with a stick, I don't know why it's at all necessary.
We could find out even more. Fuck you, I'm taking off his pants.
Why do you start down there?
You know, science. So forth. He just ends his like science and etc.
Shut up, I'm a scientist, I'm a genius.
Give me that boy cock. Like,
so
alright, let's get this. This mission became an S rank again, but for a very different reason.
Meanwhile, Mitsuki's like, I don't see anything weird about this. Orochimaru was just like this. Have I mentioned that I'm a clone of Orochimaru?
It's like,
just drops this bomb out of nowhere, just like, this fellow genius. Did he create this boy from scratch? As I was made with cloning technology. And Sarada and Boruto are like, wait, what? Oh, you didn't know. They didn't know that Orochimaru was your dad. No, they didn't know that.
Which is weird, because I don't know how they didn't know that.
And Katasuke is like, yeah, I knew that about you already. That's why I had you take off your pants for me.
They're like, how long does this weird chain of events in Konoha go to? How good are you that they're allowing you to like give like to continue these violent cards? It's like, oh, I actually know very little about science. I actually need my wife to set up my movie pass for me, because every time I try to do it, I just get stuck. I don't know what to do.
Oh God. So basically they conclude, and Boruto says, let's take him to the village, to my dad. And, all right. So it seems as though the arc is actually over, and we're getting back to Konoha from here. But geez, the amount of information that got just blasted down on all of this was so it was a lot in a very short span of time. It was weird. Oh. Okay. From all of that weirdness, let's move on to the most normal chapter of We Never Learn Ever. Like, nothing weird happens in this one at all.
So, all right. We're on question 70. Sometimes a mysterious palpitation derives from X. And I want to start off by actually noting something from last week. So last week was the end of that whole festival chapter, fireworks, everything like that. And some people I noticed in our Discord were kind of commenting to the fact that apparently, I don't know where it was, but somewhere out there, I guess there was like a thing that kind of specifically noted like, oh, well, it's not Ogata and Fumino who were the girl that helped him up because we saw them in different panels. I didn't notice that, but I thought...
Don't buy into that.
Well, I don't know if that was an official thing or not.
It can be them if he wants them to be.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't know if that was supposed to be something that was saying, like, oh, well, they can't be in it because they were doing this at the same time. I did recognize that, but I thought the notion was that, like, it could have been any of them because we weren't really supposed... It's not like this was, like a pivotal sequence of events where you're like, well, they were doing this, like a mystery to figure out. He's going to pick whatever popular girl is like around to put a story out of it or whatever.
I mean, if you watch the sequence of events, if I remember correctly, I think right before the hand holding, like Ogata is scolding Seikijo and Fumino is scolding her fan club, which I can understand if you would think like, oh, well, then they couldn't have possibly helped him up. But if you look at the 5 girls afterwards, they're all immediately staring at the fireworks and not looking at Yuika. So I think that there is definitely the possibility there is like, okay, they could have very well moved between those things very quickly. So I'm sorry, that does not expel the 2 main girls from contention.
So I just want to note it because some people were calling out. I don't know if it's something that the manga itself recognized, but otherwise I would ignore it.
Now that we've covered our base, that means that if that detail gets brought up later on in the series, you can know for certain that we were wrong as opposed to just neglecting to mention it.
And then we owe everyone a free pizza.
No.
We'll buy one and you guys have to come to claim your slice.
You have to come and get it, exactly. We won't tell you which one of us has it.
Or where the pizza is. So this chapter starts off with Ogata and Yuiga going to the library to do some studying. And they're like, oh, hey, it's too crowded in the library. Let's go to the biology lab instead because it's going to be kind of quiet there. So they're doing some studying, and Yuiga's like, okay, well, one thing you need to do more is more vocabulary because, she says, when a word comes up, my brain just freezes. He's like, yeah, there's certain vocabulary that needs to be understood to understand modern literature. So, it's a good habit to compile them all into one book. She's like, okay. And she starts kind of working on it. Yuiga looks over, and he kind of, sees the skeleton that's in the background there and then just kind of leaves so he can go get a notebook for her.
It's such a weird chapter.
It is very weird. And he's saying oh wow, it's such a great spot. He's thinking yeah, Seikijo recommended it to me once. She said for some reason hardly anyone goes in there after school, so it's the perfect place to be alone with someone. Huh. I wonder why she said that. Sounds kind of unsavory. And then he hears 2 girls talking about the rumor, the curse of the biology lab. They say that after school lets out, the skeleton in there starts crawling around the room. They're like, oh no! And he's like, oh geez, look at these people and their plebeian belief of superstitions. So he sits back down. Ogata's at work, and he's just like, well, I better not mention anything about this spooky skeleton because I don't want to upset her. And he notices, he's like, huh. Angle of the skeleton's head. Is it different from before? I also don't remember it staring straight at us. Huh, well, maybe that rumor got to me. Oh, well, maybe Ogata actually probably moved. That's probably it. No need to bring it up. And he looks again, and the skeleton's actively moving closer to them. It's right behind. He's like, why is it so close? And he's like, oh man, if I take my eyes off for a moment, what's happening? Oh, I can't let Ogata get nervous. He grabs her by the face. He's like, nothing's wrong, just focus on your work. And she's like, this is kind of weird. And he's like, oh God, I think we should finish up for the day. And she's like, oh, you're so thoughtful. Don't worry about how I'm doing, but I'm focused. I'm not leaving. I refuse to give up. And he's like, oh, that's very admirable. The skeleton's going to kill us. So he starts texting Seikijo. He's like, there's something going on in the skeleton lab. And then he starts getting a text that's just, help. And it just it breaks down into gibberish. So he hurls his phone. He's like, ah! And it somehow lands I don't understand how. If you look at the previous panel,
it doesn't make sense.
Her shirt's buttoned up.
This happens.
Her shirt's buttoned up to basically the top, but somehow his phone like slides in through the top of the shirt and in between her bosom, and he snatches it away. And he's like, I can't let her see that. And then he's like, oh my God, I wasn't thinking. She's like, you should be more careful doing things that dangerous, you know? And he's like, but she's not angry? And then she turns, and the skeleton's there, and it's like, ah, gah, 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 gah. And they start screaming, so he covers her eyes. And he's like, it's not real, it's just your imagination.
That's so fucking funny to me that he does that. It's not a skeleton.
You didn't see anything. But this is a very tender moment for her, because she's like, was that a ghost? What am I thinking? Oh, my heart's thumping so loud. Is my heart pacing just from the fear, or is it something else? As she realizes Ogata's kind of, Ariwaka's holding on to her. And Sekicho walks in, and Ariwaka's screaming, there's no such thing as ghosts. We didn't see a ghost. And she's like, I'm so confused. And Sekicho explains the situation. She's like, oh, it's an electronic skeleton. We've had this skeleton at the school for many years, but recently the chemistry club was asked to fix it. I don't know why. And we mechanized it with the battery so it moves and apparently has a consciousness of its own.
Why?
Like it's waving. It's like, hello. And I'm like, wait, did they give it sentience too?
Well, hold on.
Because she's like, oh, sorry about that text. There's something been wrong with my phone lately. I'm like, then it types out help, 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 and then garbles the gibberish. So Ogata's like, you know, she's like, you know, like, cutely punching her, like, you should have told us. She's like, oh, sorry about it. You can keep doing that a little while longer, though. And Yuega's like, bit weird. And Yuega's like, well, that makes sense. Of course, there's a perfectly logical explanation. She's like, oh,
nothing is. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, actually, come to think of it, my phone started acting up right around the time I fixed this skeleton. Oh, sure, it's just a coincidence. Oh, there are no batteries. I guess some things are just there. And I love it. Oh, God, Yuega just took the fuck off. And you see, like, the light in the skeleton's eyes illuminate. I don't know what her response. I guess because she didn't see it. But apparently that's a ghost skeleton. I'd love it if it was. It's honestly one of my like favorite later Simpsons seasons jokes when like Lisa has like the tap style thing and she was given like automatic tapping shoes and they go nuts and haywire and they have to like turn it off, and at the end she's like, I guess all that dancing was just for me, like wasn't me at all. And like Professor Ink's like, actually the switch on the shoes was turned off. She's like, all of that was me. And Homer grabs, he's like, what are you talking about, Professor? Clearly the switch is on. See right there, it says on. He's like, I was just trying to spare her feelings, you baboon. I wanted that to be Sekichi. She's like, of course it was on. Fuck you guys.
Oh man, this was a really weird chapter. I love that this is the one that we get after the actual arc that we got. Like, there is a little bit of, you know, teasing obviously between Ogata and Yuiga, you know, especially like, oh, you got in her cleavage, and oh, they're so close, I can hear his heart beating against my head. Oh. But then it goes just straight into crazy town with like, there is a ghost possessing this skeleton.
It's so strange. I love it because they don't answer it. Like, it would be weird if it were just like, it was almost like, oh, we had to go for a really long stretch for why the skeleton would be able to move. So like the chemistry club, for some reason, because we don't have someone in like the robotics club or an engineering club, they were the ones that like robotized the skeleton. And that was just the end. But I like that it's like, oh wait, no, there's no batteries in this thing. Ha 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 ha. And they're like, fuck this. Like they're gone.
Run the fuck away.
They're already down the hall.
Oh boy. A lot of fun. So,
yeah.
Okay, then let's move on to. I'm a little bit confused because we're doing things differently. Sorry. Dr. Stone.
It's time to get stoned!
Z equals 65. Call from the dead. What a chapter to come off of the previous one, honestly. All right, so we. Last time, Taiju and Yuzuriha had found the cell phone that was left by Gen and Chrome and Magma. Senku and Taiyo are now communicating. And I do love that right away in this chapter, we get a reminder, oh yeah, Taiyo is a massive idiot because he's so broken up and emotional. He's just like, Senku, I'm Senku. I'm Senku. And Senku's like, what? I'm Senku, Taiyo. Oh god, he's just so broken up emotionally. He can't really make sense right now, and Yuzuriha's also really emotional. So the girl who's spying on them from the background because they're like, "Oh, Senku, I'm being so emotional," and Yuzuriha's like, "It's been a year." It's like, "Geez, these people."
She's like, "Fuck, these guys are weird."
We get this cool little pan, showing like, oh, the radio waves connecting them bit. And to where Senku is in the village. I do like the little exchange that Ruri has with their father, where he's like, "How is this happening?" She's like, "Radio waves." But Senku immediately is like, skips all of the formalities. Like, hey, listen, I would like to sit around with you guys swapping stories, but listen, I need you guys to bring one of Tsukasa's soldiers, and whatever it takes to convince them, get them and put them right in front of the phone. And I'll explain myself later, but I can't really share the details right now. So actually, you know what, Taiyo, it's better if you don't know the details. So whatever weird stuff that you start hearing, go ahead and just believe that that's what's happening, like the gullible dummy that you are. And everyone around is like, you're being really mean to your friend. And Taiyo just says, will this actually be the best way to avoid bloodshed? And he's like, yes. He's like, okay.
Yep.
And I do like the little note that where Gohaku realized, like, wow, they really do trust each other. That's amazing. This is why they were able to survive against Tsukasa. So while they're following up on it, though, Senku says, okay, did you guys get a message from Gen yet? And I just like, no, we just found this buried here. And so everyone starts to get worried. It's like, oh, something bad must have happened then if they weren't able to actually communicate with them at all. Then we cut to, of course, where Gen and company are being pursued by the archer with the stupid hat that we saw in the previous chapter. And we get a little bit of information from Gen because Magma's freaking out because they're hiding in the underbrush from his arrows. He's like, I want to fight the guy. Let me just go punch him. And Gen says, listen, the one that we're up against right now is Ukyo and his super hearing. And Chrome's like, well, then if he's got really strong hearing, then this underbrush is a bad place to be because the twigs snap and make a lot of noise. And Gen says, that's right. We didn't actually successfully hide in this underbrush. We were actually herded here so that if we make a move, he'll be able to know exactly where we are. So Chrome's like, okay, God, we've got to figure something out. We need a plan to get Gen back to the Science Kingdom so that we can pull off the foe strategy. And then Magma does the best thing. So Magma's like, well, Gen's the one who needs to run then. Okay. I've got the plan. First, Chrome will leap out, and I'll follow. And Chrome's like, okay, what then? He just imagines Chrome getting pelted with arrows, and he's like, so you're shooting from up there. I've got you now. Smash!
Like uppercuts the dude.
Full on All Might reference with the face and the back. It's so fucking funny. And then Chrome's like, well, I'll die then if we do that. And Magma's like, why are you being so selfish? Oh, I love it. I am so glad that Magma's a quote-unquote good guy now. So we can get moments like this.
He's just like, I'll use your body as a thin meat shield to protect me while I locate the archer and kill them.
And just punch them and everything will be solved. So Chrome quickly thinks up a plan. He pulls out an extra battery that they were supposed to actually leave behind for Taiyo and Yuzuriha. And he just takes some wiring and immediately connects the positive and negative ends to each other so it'll start to heat up because he knows that that's how it works. And he just tosses the battery after doing this. And it basically works as like a firebomb, sets fire to the underbrush. And as the smoke screen goes up from that, he starts to rush out and make a lot of noise. So even with the noise going around and him screaming "Bad!" at the top of his lungs, there's still a bunch of visual cover from that. And Gen's like, okay, so with that then, the enemy's not going to hear me as I flee. And so Magma goes to help out Chrome, and they're both screaming and running, and Gen sneaks out. Ukyo shoots an arrow. We don't see what happens, and Gen runs away. Back at the Science Kingdom, we see that Senku has kind of rigged up this device. It's got a coil laid out so that it will actually play the recording of the song properly without skipping, because someone has to hand crank it. And then Gen shows up after a little bit of worrying about him, and he's out of breath but seems unharmed. And he's like, "All right, who's the first one I need to seduce?" They're like, "All right, let's do it. The first person we'll need, it has to be her," according to Yuzuriha, as Taiju goes and talks to the pigtailed girl we saw spying on them before, and Taiju just flat out says, "We got something for you." And Yuzuriha thinks if we can just get the one guarding us on our side, then with patience and persistence, we'll make allies of the whole Tsukasa Empire one by one.
I want to call her Brunhilde, because she looks like a Brunhilde. Definitely
a little Brunhilde there, yeah. Because the braids are the right type of braids, too. So, So this was a fun chapter.
Yeah, it's a fun chapter. I'm excited to, we're going to get introduced to some new characters slowly but surely, I think, with this group. We already kind of know a couple characters in Tsukasa's Empire, but now we're slowly seeing more. And it's just interesting to see how this is all going to play together. I'm really curious to see how this next chapter goes. Can Senku and Gen's plan work exactly as perfectly as they want? I have to assume so, because if it doesn't, they're introducing it to the first fucking person that is the worst person to fuck up on. Whereas it's like, oh, let's just kill these two. Like, oh no!
So, yeah, cool stuff. I really liked it. And honestly, it was an all right chapter for the most parts, but the Magma bit was what really put it over the top for me. Okay. From here, then, we're going to be going into the 7 Deadly Sins.
Yes, this is a very short chapter, 7 Deadly Sins, by the way. Chapter 274, The Despairing Fallen Angel Male. So, as we kind of found out last week, the character of Estarossa that we all knew is the son, the third son of the Demonoid was not, in fact, that. It was, in fact, memories that had been planted across everybody to misremember that he was actually the supposedly dead 4th Archangel Male. And that revelation happened, and we started up saying, with Gowther being like, that is his true form, Male of the 4 Archangels. And Male kind of wakes up, and he's like, was I having a dream? And his clothes have kind of reappeared to the flowing robes he had, and his wings are back. And we go to this long flashback to when Male was a child, and they're like, oh, you look just like Ludishell. Coppering his hairdo won't, cure your cowardice. Plus your hair is more unruly than his is. And everyone's like, don't be so mean, to him. It looks nice, things like that. And Male, or Ludishell actually says, I guarantee that someday you will even outshine me. And Bale's saying, my brother taught me how it was not a sin to kill demons, how it was the only right way to save their souls trapped in the ages. And so I killed countless demons, and before I knew it, I became feared by the demons. And a pretty badass pose. It's like him in this armor with these giant wings, buff as shit. And, Ludishell says he was proud of me, and that made me happy. But Elizabeth didn't even spare me a glance and chose that filthy demon Melodius instead. And you have no idea how badly that broke my heart. And then all of a sudden, he starts saying, he's looking in the mirror, and he's like, I'm Estarossa. And he's like, what am I saying? My name is Mel. And he says, I have finally beaten the strongest of the 4 archangels. Ha ha ha, such a lowly form. He's like, I killed myself? That can't be. Why am I not acting myself? And he's like, I will offer this great victory to my father, the Demon Lord, and I'll cut off this stupid long hair and look more like my brother Melodius. And I like the way this symbolism is kind of mirroring itself, that his hairstyle has always been in a resemblance to the older brother he's admired. And this adds new context to oh no, he really was in love with Elizabeth, but it's not in the same way that we knew before.
Right.
And finally, even his wings disappear, and he's bestowed one of the 10 commandments, the one his brother left behind, the commandment of love, and he takes it, and with that, his dark conversion is finally complete, and he's like, I don't believe it, this is a nightmare, it's not real, and he thinks about all the different people he's hurt, all of the number of his comrades he's murdered as one of the 10 commandments, and he's like, the unfortunate masses I burned to death, who did this? And Gauther finishes the chapter saying, I am responsible for it all, so destroy me. That's it. As I said, this was a very short chapter. It's like 16 pages long, but it's basically just kind of a refresher of what we found out last chapter. A really welcome refresher. I think this is the moment that kind of deserves to have a little bit of time spent on it to really hammer it home. But not a ton of new information from it, just new context to things.
And it was really effective, I think, in portraying it too. Like, it's the way the male describes it is like a nightmare. But when you think about it, it's like, he's losing who he is and is kind of just can't do anything about it. He realizes that something is wrong, but he's the only one who realizes that something is wrong as he kills his allies and he does these atrocious things that he feels awful about doing. Yeah.
It's a complicated series because, like, out there, as we said, we've kind of like trying to like kind of get more on the board with this character. He's kind of like trying to learn and kind of like, how do you really rationalize this? I guess you say like it was the path of least bloodshed, but that's not the best. Like, it was a lot of more bloodshed in just one other direction, basically.
Good point. All right, we're going to close that up, and then we're going to move on to The Promised Neverland, Chapter 94, All of Us Alive. So, the first 5 pages of this chapter accomplish nothing. It's literally just the same thing we saw happen at the end of the previous chapter with different angles and from different points of view. And it kind of annoys me. I feel as though, like, after the previous chapter, maybe they were like, maybe we should make this look a little bit cooler when the anime does it, or something like that. I don't know. But after those pages are done, Lewis is dead. He's just dead. There is a hole in his head, and there is blood everywhere on the ground. They're like, okay, we've defeated him. We're free. Let's gather our wounded and go. And there's a bit of celebration from Violet. And they're like, yes, we did it. It's all done. And then Nigel rushes over to Adam, who he sees is injured, but he's not too bad. Although Ray is like, holy shit, what kind of a monster is this guy that he got sent crashing into a building and he's barely hurt at all?
He's like, I could be jacked if I wanted to. I don't want to. I have baby memories. Everyone stop looking at him. Look at me. I'm cool. Guys, you see me kick the table?
So Emma's like, yay, everything's fine. Now we just have to treat Pepe and escape. Oh, I lost a lot of blood. So they grab Emma and rush her to where all the wounded are gathered. And they're like, oh, we've got to treat Emma and Pepe. Hurry, treat them. They're really fucked up. Lucas reunites with the geezer, and they're like, yay. And he's like, wounded girl on back. Let's peel her. But they realize that there's not really enough medical equipment left. They had so many wounded that they've used basically all of their supplies, and they just don't have enough to properly treat Emma anymore. So they can do a little bit, and Ray is desperately attending to her, saying like, oh, let's try and stop her bleeding. Forget the anesthesia or antiseptics. Let's just stop her from losing blood, or she's going to die here. And then he says, like, hey, if we return to the shelter, there's equipment for a blood transfusion. We have medication we brought from the house. So if we just do the minimum amount here and get her out of here, if we leave, we can still save her. Oh, man, she's going to die, isn't she? I do like, because we make all these jokes all the time. Hashtag Ray and stuff. But it's nice that, real Ray is just taking this moment where he realizes, like, he's going to lose his only other friend. Like, he's desperate to try and save her and do anything that he can. Because Nigel brings up, like, Emma said it took you guys 4 days to get here. I don't know if she'll make it that long. But the old man says, like, well, if we take the absolute fastest route, we could get there in 1.5 days. But But there's no way that we could take all these people with us, and we would be going too slow. We've got too many injured, too many people. How can we actually do that? And then Oliver is like, leave us behind, Lucas. You're not an important character. You stop trying to be dramatic. Go away.
So one thing we kind of skipped over that I really want to point out is there's a kind of cool scene when they bring Emma back that the old geezer sees Lucas for the first time, and they have like this bro hug basically. Mm-hmm. That's kind of sweet, and they have this sort of thing where they realize like, hey, we have to get out of here because even though we killed the demons, there's still more in Bane's mansion. They're gonna find out what happened, and we may not be able to win the next time. Like we don't have the information against them like we did.
Yeah, they're not as formidable as Bayon and Luvis, but there's going to be a lot of them and that we don't know about. So,
and I do kind of like this ending here. It's sort of in a way very reminiscent to the way they left Gracefield House of like Phil being like, "Hey, leave us behind and come back." Although Emma's not conscious enough to have a say in this, so that may play into some drama. But I'll be curious if this ends up being like an actual sacrifice or if this is like, oh, this is just going to be a side group. Because like what characters we know that it's Gillian, Pepe, Zach, Oliver rather. And then like one or two others are hurt. So it's a small group of like the characters we actually know, and I guess presumably the rest of them would go with them. I don't know. It's tough to say. I'll be interested to see how they actually play this to an end. It could be a very interesting twist. It might just end up being more of the same. We shall see.
So you're suggesting that because they're wounded, that they might actually die, and then Emma's going to be pissed off because she didn't save everyone.
Yeah, because I mean, even then, if they leave the wounded behind, then what they just kind of theorized should happen. Like, the demons are going to come out, they'll presumably eventually find them, and they're going to be too injured to actually fight back. So unless they're like, okay, well, we'll send like 4 of you guys out there, and then the rest of us will stay here to protect our friends, maybe that's what they'll end up doing.
I can see that. Yeah. Pretty quick chapter, honestly, despite everything. So, all right, Black Clover.
Yes, so I'm going to be taking on Black Clover now.
Right. So, before we get into it,
okay.
Before I get into it, I've been talking about this for a while. I was like, I'm gonna just pass this on this responsibility because guys, I'm at peace now. Like like the 5 stages of grief, Chris.
Yeah.
Like, I'm at acceptance. Black Clover is not for me, and that's okay. Go. It's okay. It's okay that, that I hate this series now and that this chapter is garbage. Okay. It's okay. But that said, if I'm checking out, I'm probably not the person to actually lead on this anymore. Okay. So
we're going to have to start emailing Annalise to send in the recap each week. Like, can you do it? You like it?
Don't care.
Well, as someone who went undefeated at pre-release, I feel it is an appropriate responsibility for the exec lead on this.
This is the burden.
Yeah, when you're this good, things are put upon you. So, all right. So, this chapter starts off with Luck being super excited and kicking Magna in the face, like saying thank you. And Vanessa's like,
remember that bit where they had that very emotional bro hug moment where it's like, it's okay. Yeah. They're past that now. It's cool.
Yeah, well, Vanessa explains like, well, obviously he's doing it to hide his embarrassment, you naive little DeWinklet, obviously after a passionate hug like that. And Asta screams at him and is like, that was really mean, Mr. Magna. And he's like, what are you talking? I was being genuine. Why are you doing this? Luck has this thing of like, oh man, I hope the townspeople are okay. And Vanessa apparently explains like, don't worry, in the background I saved them all. I didn't showcase myself doing it, but I saved everybody. I'm like, okay. Then they ask about Astasort. He explains like, well, I don't know, because I'm dumb as shit. But says it sucks up the effects of spells or the fact that the spell was cast and makes it like it never happened or something. But I don't really know. But in one attack, or no, it takes more than that. But if I've got a little time, I can undo the reincarnation spell. I like that Asta's too stupid to understand the spell. He's just like, I don't know. I think if I hit it, it makes it like the spell never happened for a while. Maybe. I don't know. It's cool, though. And he has like a little moment. He's like, oh, man, I kind of feel bad for these guys. I wonder if this means, does he die? Did he die again? And Lux says, well, he smiled at the end, and he looked gentle. That's what they're actually like. And I think it's a good thing that you set him free. That spell was a really scary, sad one. So Asta's like, well, I'll save everybody then. All the people who got reincarnated as elves. But we have to get back to the hideout. And Lux like, leave it to me. And he starts, basically, I guess, I don't know. I guess he grabbed, it's Vanessa's string. Okay. It's kind of hard to tell because he doesn't have string. But I guess he was like, give me that shit. And then and he's dashing across. He's like, lightning, electro zapping his way across. He's not through like electrical outlets or anything like that. So I don't know what he's like channeling it to. But he says, wow, my body remembers the way Amanda felt when the elf kid was inside of me. I could get stronger. And I'm like, sir, that's how getting stronger works.
Hey, you know what? If Asta can get stronger without having to do anything, Luck can get stronger without having to do anything.
They arrive at the Black Bull's base, and it's all in tatters and ruins, because last time, we remember, there was that big fight where Sally and the rest of them attacked, and then after that, we know Gauch got possessed by a spirit. So, Asta calls out, he sees, Gray and... Gordon, there we go. Gray and Gordon doing their gimmicks. That's the easiest way I could explain it. And then they have this whole thing where like Magna sees Henry and starts like going towards me like, who's this? And he starts getting his magic sucked away. And before anyone can say anything, Asta leaps up and he's like, this is our good... He explains everything. And he's like, we're going to be really good friends. He sucks mana away from me, but I don't have any mana, so we're the best friends. We've hung out forever. We always talk. We're best friends.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine with this. This is okay. It's okay that Asta has another friend he met off screen and had great adventures with, and we don't have to establish introductions or anything like that. It's just like those people that, they had the novel adventure with, Chris.
Fuck.
That doesn't matter that we haven't seen them interact in the manga before. Asta's best friends with them. Mm-hmm. It's okay.
And everyone's being really, really weird because that's all their gimmicks. It's like, hey, there's half the guild that just can't communicate with one another. But out of it, they eventually skip over and are like, oh, Gauch turned into an elf. So that's what they're kind of focusing on. They're like, we have to go rescue him, but my magic's already so weak. And they're like, oh, there's such tremendous magic. Who could it be? And then they see that it's Charmy. And she's saying, I won't forgive them. They won't get away with it. And they're like, oh, no, is she an elf too? And because she has markings on her face, and apparently it's just sauce from what she was eating, because she's actually just angry that someone wrecked her vegetable garden.
Yeah.
And she's ready to kill them all. She's like, I'm going to knock all of them into next week. All of you, follow me. You're out of magic? Then you eat this. And she makes something. I don't know how it is that a series
it's a sheep cook. It's a sheep cook.
But I don't know what the sheep cook cooks. Like
it's a sheep cook, Chris.
There's a veritable of ingredients, but the panels following that, it looks like it just serves them anonymous chunks. And they're sheep like...
cook.
It's a great phrase. I don't know what it cooks them, and that's confusing to me.
Sheep cook, Chris.
Fair enough. And they're like, whoa, it's building our power back up. And she explains it. Yes, the more of the head chef's cooking you eat, the more magic you'll get. And everyone's like, whoa, that's a completely nutso spell. Thank goodness you had this. And they all eat it. And are getting really strong, too. And they're like, come on, Henry, you eat, too. And he's like, but I'll absorb your magic. And they say, that's fine. We'll eat enough to make up for it. And I don't know if that would work. Does Henry have an off switch when he's at maximum mana or whatever? Does he just stops? I don't know. Basically, there's this whole big thing where every member of the Black Bulls is doing their gimmick, and I guess Asta is the one who's like, these are the Black Bulls that I know. Being part of this circle is just the best. And Henry starts putting together the guild again because that's his magic. And he says, "Everybody get on the raging black bull charging star." And then every character does their expression of yelling. So like Asta yells with his mouth full of food, and Magda does the same. A lot of them have
their mouth full of food, yeah.
And then Luck just has his crazy eyes scream, and Vanessa's doing, I guess, an angry scream, and Gray's doing her shy scream, and Gordon's just, "Aah!" And Henry's like, "Ah!" And Charmy's just eating, and they're like, "We're gonna save the kingdom." And I realize now that the thing that the Black Bull charging style they made doesn't have wheels. It has legs and it's just slamming into the ground over and over. So it's just destroying the fucking ground everywhere it goes.
It's a good thing that they're going to save the kingdom, though, instead of wrecking everything in their path. Yeah.
And that's Black Clover this week. Nick, what did you think?
Oh, it was so terrible. It's a good thing to know that all of the problems in the world can be solved by just stabbing a dude with a magic sword. And then when you do that, you get a free magic power up out of it. And all of the Black Bulls are not having any trouble whatsoever. You know what, Chris? Gauche is possessed by an elf, but he believes in his friends so much, he didn't even try to hurt them. And that's fine.
Mm-hmm. So it makes things compelling. That's the exciting part of this. All right. Well, that's I don't have much to say about this. It's strange to me from a mechanical perspective that
the building with bull legs.
No, I mean that's silly, but more so that there's a character whose spell is like, I get everyone's full strength back. Like, I get it, sensu beans, like all that sort of shit. It's just weird for me in a world where magic is like sort of like tiered and stuff like that. That like they're like, some people have spells to get everybody's magic and everything back, and there's literally one character's just like, I'm gonna fucking summon this thing and it makes food that you guys eat and you're all super strong again.
There have been a lot of instant recovery items or instant recovery methods that have been introduced recently because there's basically no time in an in-universe perspective to bother to stop and rest and regain strength slowly. So they just have to keep on moving, which means that they have to just keep on having methods of regaining mana and strength and basically make this gauntlet battle not be a gauntlet to go through because you just instantly heal in between every round.
Mm-hmm. It's also weird to me, again, thinking of this mechanically, because Charmy's thing to this point has kind of been like crazy, overwhelming power. Mm-hmm. That it's like I'm trying to think of like a game that you played that I could make this connection to, but I can't. So I'm just gonna go with Final Fantasy X. I guess you could do this in Final Fantasy X. Maybe it's not that crazy. But I was thinking like Auron, the guy with like the one giant sword who just had the strongest attacks. I was like, if you just gave him the strongest healing magic too. But I was like, you can't do that. You could break Final Fantasy X, isn't it? It works, I guess.
All right. Let's move on then to One Piece, chapter 910, Onwards to Wano. So, we kind of did what you were predicting would happen last week, which is always see what Zoro and everyone are up to in the land of Wano. But you know what? It's time to go and catch up with Luffy instead of keeping around there. We're interestingly given a reintroduction to Luffy, I guess just to emphasize like, hey, his bounty's really fucking high now. Remember that. Because he's basically given like he's captain of the Straw Hat Luffy, bounty 1.5 million berry. So, they are talking a little bit because Nami's gotten the newspaper, which is covering the reverie. And so they're talking a little bit about what's going on. And like, oh, hey, Shirahoshi went there with the Ryugu Kingdom. And Luffy's, kind of being like, oh, wow, she's actually getting a lot tougher then. Yeah, it says your grandfather was her personal escort, Luffy. He's like, oh. But that's his reaction.
Yeah, he's just like, huh. Okay. Interesting.
So we get that. And then Sanji starts freaking out because he sees that Vivi is at the reverie too, of course. Freaking out about that. And then... they're seeing a bunch of familiar faces in there, and he's like, "Oh, all these princesses have gathered together, and I bet they're talking about me."
Sure they are. Sanji, keep dreaming that good dream, buddy.
I love Nami's line, which is, well, it's nice to dream. She just completely dismisses it immediately. And then she's like, oh, hey, Chopper, look at it. It's Dr. Correa. And he's like, oh! And then immediately he starts clipping out her picture from the newspaper. And Sanji's done the same thing with the princess. And now he's like, I was reading this!
You assholes!
Then we get a little bit of a conversation going on. It was like, oh, hey, but there was something about Kaido here. Damn it. Give me the clippings back, And Brooke mentions, hey, what's the transponder snail doing? And Luffy's like, yeah, no response. Oh, well, let's keep going. And Nami makes a comment because, like, hey, all the stuff going on around this kingdom, it's really weird. The waves are so tall. And there's these massive, rocks surrounding us. Look at all this weather. And Brooke suggests, like, maybe we should hang back because of this storm and head through later. And Luffy's like, what are you talking about? Let's go to Wano. No fear whatsoever.
I fucking love these panels. Like, already you see how much, like, of this cool Japanese art influences going into Wano. And it's so fucking cool. Like, it literally feels like this land and every image it is just a Japanese painting being brought to like life.
One of them specifically is.
Yeah, the wave. Yeah,
the wave over something like that. Wave off of Kurogane or something like that. Anyway, meanwhile, while they're discussing the weather, an octopus has gotten on deck, and no one has taken notice of him yet. You're just like, standing next to Brooke.
I didn't notice in that panel with Nami too, where they show up her outfit, the octopus is
standing right next to them, wearing his little sushi chef headbands.
Oh, that's fucking great.
And then finally, as they're talking, I was like, oh, gosh, well Kinemon warned us that the weather's always bad, so maybe we just have to go through it. Oh, man. What's this doing here? I love how it takes them so long. And I literally thought, when I reached the 2-page spread and the octopus was there, it's like, did they pick up, like, a guide or something at some point? And then they're like, what's this octopus doing here? It is bigger than any of the people on the ship, and it takes them so long to realize it's there. Oh, gosh. So they start freaking out. But before they can really deal with the octopus being on the ship, they realize that there is a school of massive koi fish, like each of them as big as the Thousand Sunny, all swimming along the ship. And they're like, what the hell? Aren't these like freshwater fish? What are these things doing here? And Luffy's like, hey, are koi tasty to eat, Sanji? And Sanji's like, oh, yeah, if you cook them in hot water and serve them chilled. And then there's this, and then there's tempura.
Are they? I always thought koi were supposed to be gross.
I don't know.
Can you eat koi? Dies? Not again. Generally, no. If the fish, any carp, are raised for human consumption, BS, but in most cases, do not eat koi.
In most cases. So it might be like a pufferfish kind of thing. Like you have to be very careful with preparing it. Or like you have to...
This is from... Okay, so the answer is yes. Koi are ornamental carp. Carp is edible. Any freshwater fish is edible. Okay, no, this is from somebody who apparently owns them. Okay. So I guess you can eat koi. They're just carp.
Okay. No. Cool. All right. So, Luffy jumps off of the ship and latches onto a koi. And he's like, hey, no, stop struggling. Of course it's going to struggle, Luffy. And Nami's freaking out. So I'm just like, he'll be fine. Just keep going.
Sanji's like, I want to see the Japanese princesses.
Meanwhile, the octopus is still on deck. Just going, oh!
I thought Pokemon taught us that carp wasn't tasty. Weren't magic carp supposed to be disgusting? And like that's why, well, I guess it was James couldn't, he tried to take a bite out of it and it was too hard. But I thought that was also part of like why Magikarp was so worthless. Is like, it's not even worth it to fucking eat these things. Hold on. Are Magikarp delicious?
Magikarp is also referred to as Koi King in Japanese. So if the Pokemon anime says that they are not good to eat, then they lied to us, because Magikarp is a koi, and according to what you found, koi can be edible. This is the kind of intense discussion of anime lore about the edibility of fish that you come to Weekly Manga Recap for, guys.
There's going to be nothing but comments on YouTube. People being like, why are you spending so much time talking about eating fish? No, you shouldn't eat koi. Neither of you like seafood. Why do you care?
Does the fish taste like a chicken pot pie?
Can you make koi pot pie?
So everyone's freaking out because they realize that they're actually going along a stream that's like a river, which the koi are swimming upstream. And they're like, what the hell? There's a waterfall here. How is there a waterfall here? And they're climbing the waterfall. And they realize, like, oh, this must actually be the source of all the fresh water in this area. It's cascading down from here, and that's where the fresh water's coming from. And that's why freshwater fish are in this area. So Wano must be up there. So they're like, oh God, the ship's going to sink. We're going to be pounded beneath this waterfall. We're not going to make it. And Louis like, I'll get it. Take yourself, coin. Just grabs onto two of them and uses them like freaking horses drawing a carriage.
It's my favorite part that like they have this traumatic thing going on, and the crew's general reaction to Luffy is like, just let him go. Like that point where he like leaps off and they just disappears into the ocean with koi, and now he's like, oh my God, so I'm just like, whatever, he'll be fine. And then they reach
the waterfall. Yay! I do love the one brief panel of reactions that we get of everyone on the ship, because like Brook is still distracted by the octopus, and Sanji's grimacing, and Chopper is crying in fear, and meanwhile Carrot's there, and she's just like, yeah!
I want that octopus to stay on the crew forever. He's the
octopus for Strawhat.
Octopus for
Never name him. He's just an octopus. So a little bit of time passes. They wind up in a whirlpool. Luffy passes out, and somehow Luffy is left alone on shore with the Thousand Sunny, passed out on the beach, sleeping. And a random crab comes up and pinches his nose and wakes him up. And he's like, oh, where is everyone? Where am I? What happened? And then he hears a ruckus coming from the other side of the ship. And he's like, hey, don't you mess with that. And he goes around to the other side, and he sees this weird bull warthog looking demon thing. And it's like, hey,
fuck,
where are you?
Is this? What are these things called? I'll look it up. You keep continuing.
I don't know. Uni? I don't know.
No, they actually have a specific name.
Okay. And then approaching from the other side, as it's like barking next to him, he sees this giant baboon that's carrying a katana. He's like, all right, must be in Wano. I have a question, Chris. How does it carry that katana around?
I don't know. How does Zoro...
Is it just like holding it in its hand constantly?
Koma Inu is the name. They're lion dogs. That's it.
Because there's no like sash or anything seemingly anywhere on the baboon's person.
He just walks around with it.
Just carries the sword around, I guess. It's very inefficient. He needs to have better accessorization, Chris. I
disagree. I hope it made it itself, or Wano just like has plants that like spawn as swords, like they have sword trees, and you shake it and swords fall off of it or some shit like that. That'd be pretty dope.
Well, with that said, Chris, that's the end of our manga for this week. Let's name our favorites then.
What was my favorite this week? I think I'm going to give it to One Piece, if only because I love the art direction of this week. I love the visual of Wano and how it keeps kind of putting itself together as like this Japanese painting brought to life. So I really appreciate that.
So I'm going to have to do the same thing. I don't think that we had very many standout chapters this week. There were some good ones, but there weren't any that really grabbed you and blew you away with how good they were. So I think that I'm going to go do it with One Piece, honestly, for the same reasons. I mean, it made me really stop and take a look when they started showing the waves and everything like that. Very, very cool. As for MVP, Magma. Like, can be no question.
Yeah, I think I'll give it to Magma as well. I think this is like my third week giving it to Magma recently, but he's been so fun.
It's so goddamn funny. It's like, I know I'll use you as a shield, and then I'll punch him when I know where he is. Oh, God. Well, that is going to do it, everyone, for Weekly Manga Recap this week. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for the live recording, which we do normally on twitch.tv/RoloT and smashcast.tv/RoloT, somewhere between 7 and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, on Thursdays. If you want to follow us so that you can stay updated in case we need to change our plans, you can do that by following on Twitter @OmarPodcast for the official podcast account. Also, Chris is @RoloT. I am @NickFTime.
If you notice, when you go to my Twitter page now, I did include in there that I went undefeated in a pre-release in my Twitter bio.
Very impressive. Always got to put the highest accolades up first.
Yeah, I'm like, went undefeated at pre-release. Host WMR.
Was that secondary to you understanding that?
Yeah, to understand. This was a pretty big deal. I went undefeated at pre-release.
If you want to send us feedback, ask us questions for our Q&A episodes, or suggest manga for us to read, you can send all that stuff via email to weeklymangarecap@yahoo.com. We also want to give special thanks to all of our Patreon supporters. Your support allows us to create all sorts of fun bonus content for you guys to enjoy, as well as special thanks to Steve Man, our Taiyo artist, and to Infamous Planet for the stuff that you do. And that should do it.
Yes.
Perfect.
That's going to do it. Let's get on out of here. Oh, wait, right. Nick, have you watched Luke Cage Season 2 at all yet?
No, I have not. Not in the slightest.
You got to get into it because I'm going to start doing a bunch of random Jamaican accents from now on.
Oh, no.
It's there's a Jamaican character. It's like the villain of this season. So you get a whole bunch of Jamaican stuff in it, and I love it because the Netflix subtitles don't really know what to do with it a lot of the time. So like a lot of times it'll come into the scene like, "It's be here, maybe Bushmaster, come down here and fight you now," and then like the subtitles like, "I am Bushmaster." And then there are the times when it just tries to pronounce it phonetically and it doesn't really know what's going on. It's fucking astounding. I love it. Bushmaster is incredible. Great season. Misty Knight, though, I have decided is the worst. She's past Annie Rand as the worst character in the Marvel Universe.
Wow.
She is so... I don't understand how she has a job. I don't. She's so bad at her job. Every time she tries to do something, she's so bad.
All right, that's going to do it, everyone, for weekly MCU recap. We'll catch you later.